I've seen 23 minutes and 35 seconds of young Hansen in a Trailblazers Summer League uniform, and I'm ready to overreact. Welcome to a bonus episode of Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter, Mike Richmond, and you are listening to a bonus episode of Locked On Blazers where we're going to overreact to everything we saw in Hansen's debut in Summer League. Blazers win tonight against the Warriors. They play again tomorrow night. Sunday's regular show. We'll talk about all of the other things that happened. If you are new to the program, this is a 5 days a week, 30-minute program that comes out every single weekday, Monday through Friday. So tell your friends about the program and make it part of your daily routine. But today is not a daily routine. Today's a special edition. Today is an overreaction bonus episode because Young Hansen went nuts. Maybe not box score nuts, but if you watch the game, it was just so much to appreciate for the rookie big man in his Summer League debut. I was going to call it NBA debut. This isn't the NBA. Let's be clear, that Warriors team is bad. But Hansen was really, really, really good from the moment he stepped out of the gate. That's what we're going to talk about today. This will be a quicker one than normal, but all things Hansen, all things his first game in Summer League. He has finishes with 10 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks. That's a quintuple single to go along with 3 turnovers and 6 fouls in 23 minutes and 35 seconds. I've seen enough. The dude's got some stuff, and it happened right out of the stinking gate. The very first play of the game, you saw so much of what might make this dude special, right? I am going to use some more definitive language than maybe I would in some other times because it's a bonus show and we're overreacting. First play of the game. Blazers win the tip, come down, getting a little bit of a confusion because they kind of push to see if they can get an advantage, and they can't, so they need to set it back up. Typically, first plays of NBA games are scripted, and guess what? Hansen knows the script. He goes to the corner and directs his guards right away. Hey, you go up here and set the play, set the screens. He knows what it is. It's a stagger screen for him. So that's 2 guards coming from up high, the top of the key, towards Hansen in the corner. So he gets 2 screens coming up towards the top of the key. Looks like it's going to flow into a pick and roll or a dribble handoff. Hansen gets the ball at the top of the key, and instead of flowing into a natural dribble handoff, CD Sissoko cuts back door. Hansen feeds him with a very clean, perfectly placed bounce pass. Great touch, great read, skim the rim type of dunk layup for Sissoko. The first stinking play of the game. You see the IQ, you see the passing skills. Hansen's got me hooked. I'm hooked. A couple plays later, gets the ball at the top of the key. Starts to sort of dribble towards his left and sees a cutter. He starts to pivot to his left and sees a cutter, takes one dribble to his right, and then off the dribble, a live dribble, one-handed pass, loop pass to a cutter going to the rim. Dime. Dude's just... The passing skills were the thing that if you watched his highlights or whatever, they stood out the most. It's like, this is what makes this guy really special. He has some other skills, but the passing stuff is what really makes him special because you can learn some of the other things, but I think good passers, particularly good passers at a very young age, as a 20-year-old, it is an innate skill, something that makes him special, and it didn't even take 3 stinking minutes into his first Summer League game to him to make 2 passes to say, yeah, that dude passes like someone who can really pass. Yeah, that dude is Pau Gasol. That dude is Boris Diaw. That dude is Arvydas Sabonis. This is Vlade Divac. This is Bill Walton. These are the great passing bigs. And Hansen looks like one of them right away, 3 minutes into freaking Summer League. The feel is what really impressed me. Not like he had another pass on a cut where he kind of looped the ball around the defender as he catches it at the top of the key. They ran a lot of this is like some jargony, but I think you'll hear them talk about it a little bit, so it's worth to know the jargon now. A delay action, which is typically when the sort of center is at the top of the key, and then you run cuts off of that. And teams either run like little flare cuts, or what the Blazers run is split cuts, which means that a guy's screen for each other and you can make reads off of you get to read each other and make decisions off the screen, as opposed to and there's rules based on what decisions you make, but it allows for little backdoor actions. And because Hansen's out of the paint, and I'll talk about this more in a moment, he's able to make reads. And they ran so much of this delay stuff. And there was another one where he's looking to see what's going to happen. He has the ball at the top of the key, and there's that screen action away from him on the wing, away from the ball on the wing. And he's looking to see, is the guard going to come up towards the top of the key and flow into a dribble handoff? Is the screener going to slip? Is the screener going to make contact and then roll and open up? And it was a slip. And he just reaches around his defender while he's looking hard at that action and doesn't stare down the pass, waits just enough, sort of gives it just enough time, and then makes sure that he sees the cut and makes the read, throws it inside, just soft little touch pass inside for another layup. Just dude has a real feel. He didn't really struggle on defense. I think that was notable. He blocked 3 shots and had a steal. I don't think any of the blocks were the oh my goodness type of blocks, but he's 7'2", and he just naturally can he's just naturally going to get, block some shots in a 24-minute stretch, right? That's good stuff, right? That's good stuff. And I don't think he looked terribly out of place on defense. Granted, competition level and all that, but I thought for the most part, he was just he didn't get exploited at all in that, and I think that's meaningful. He banked in a 3, which was pretty funny because that was not a good looking shot, and then it went in, and I was like, my king, let's go. But when it left his hand, I'm like, uh-oh, and then it goes in. It's like everything's coming up, Richmond, baby. And then he had his best offensive play. Is in the third quarter. Cursed by ESPN's obsession with picture-in-picture interviews. They just do these interviews with half the screen is on whoever the interviewee is, whoever the subject of the interview is. In this case, it's Donovan Clingan. And cool, man, I'm glad we're hearing from Donovan Clingan, but I want to see Hansen hoop, and we missed his best bucket. We didn't miss it. We just had it on a tinier version of the screen that was deeply unnecessary for my purposes. I want to appreciate it. But he gets going to his right, he's going to flow into a dribble handoff. Again, he's spending all his time on top of the key. I'll talk about that in a moment. He's flown into a dribble handoff, right? I believe it's Caleb Love, and instead Love sets a screen for him. That is the point guard screening for a center. And when you are skilled as Hansen, skilled as Hansen, a point guard screening for you is an advantage. He gets that screen. He sees that he's going to have a smaller defender on him. He spins back to the middle of the court as opposed to drifting more towards the sideline. He gets his shoulders inside his defender and past the smaller guard, gets himself to the rim, scoop layup off the glass with his right hand. Ooh, boy, that's a skilled move. We're talking dude who had 10, 4, and 5 with 3 blocks. But if you watch the game, I think the skill stuff stood out. The feel, the reads, the passing, a couple nice offensive plays, own individual offense. But I think the most important thing that happened was there were very few moments where he looked outclassed. Very few moments where he looked like a fish out of water. For the most part, he played a game in control with very few yikes moments. Let's talk about the lack of yikes and the little things that did go wrong and where he can clean those things up in the third segment. Plus, Hansen's got beef and he ain't afraid. Let's celebrate it. Let's continue to overreact. Join me in the second segment, won't ya? First, though, let's talk Gametime. It's a place for last-minute tickets. If you're trying to take anyone you love or anyone you might think you love to a sporting event, and maybe you don't think about that sporting event until it's just about to happen, well, Gametime is the #1 spot for procrastinators or last-minute thinkers. That's exactly what they do. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you're going to save on these tickets, you can have more fun of the game. Buy drinks, buy merch, even invite a bigger group because you want your friends to come, and Gametime's going to make it all possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to the start of the event, whether that's first pitch, kickoff, or tip-off, what have you. They've got incredible last-minute deals. They got panoramic seat views so you can see the view from your seat before you buy, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. So take the guesswork and the worry out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the redemption code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, let's keep it rolling. A bonus episode of Locked On Blazers. Hansen was impressive because of all the skills he showed, but he was also extremely impressive, and I think this was in some ways for me the most notable part of his performance. So few yikes moments. I mentioned that he didn't look like outmatched on defense. There were some times, right? Like in the first half, he kind of bit on a jab step from Evan Mobley's brother at the top of the key. And he kind of got turned around, right? Like he started to retreat into the paint, and then he realized his man was still there, and he spun around and took this big wide step and then kind of lunged back for a like half-hearted contest on a three. And Mobley, bricks a three-pointer because it's summer league and people shoot bricks. But there was but that was it. That's like the notable moment. There was a play in the third quarter when he was guarding a pick and roll, and he was in drop coverage, and the guard kind of got him to bite on a pump fake, and he bit on it. But it's like, you're going to give up buckets. You're going to foul. He committed 6 fouls. I'm not too worried about that. It is 6 fouls in 24 minutes. I guess it's something to monitor when the games actually happen. But in summer league, where you get 10 fouls, do it. One of his fouls was a push off on offense. That's also one of his turnovers. He had 3 turnovers, but that's both a foul and a turnover. He just he was trying to get into a handoff, and he like straightened his arm into someone, and I believe Mobley again, and he like got him up in the neck, and they called an offensive foul. Like there were just so few stinkers. There's so few stinkers, so few yikes moments, so few like, oh yeah, well, there wasn't a stretch where I was thinking like, well, yeah, he's 20. It's like he just didn't have those. He had a play in the first half where he spun once from the top of the key and spun back the other way, and he's just like, come on. And he got stripped going back up. It's just like, that's not going to happen. But he tried that again, right? Like he's just bang. Okay, that was too much. A double spin from the top of the key is too much. The aforementioned, kind of getting lost a little bit on a jab step and getting caught a little bit on a pump fake. But I wouldn't even put that in the bucket. I'm just like kind of searching for things that kind of where he looked a little bit off on defense. I don't think he was dominant by any means in this game, but so few yikes moments and a lot of stuff where it's like, that is interesting. Look at the skill set. He had a play in transition where he catches they try to hit ahead, and he intercepted the hit ahead pass. He runs in transition and then throws it to Caleb Love, kind of in a look away off the dribble. And Love throws down a dunk, and Hansen's just like, yep, that's what we do. Kind of a little bit of swagger, and I love the swagger from him. Got in a couple minor skirmishes where he just got physical. Guys got physical with him, and he didn't care. There was one where I believe Rowe was the guy's name for Golden State. Kind of got mad at him on a foul. First, Rowe fouls him, and then got mad at Hansen for I guess being physical with him. And he just laughed. He smiled. He's like he's ready to mix it up. I love that. Never going to back down. If you watch any of his highlights from the CBA, you knew that physicality wasn't going to be a problem. He's a dude who understands what it's like to be big and take that beating, right? Like he's just like, yeah, you're gonna grab and pull and claw, and we're going to shove a little bit. Great, let's do it again. Like I love that attitude from a 20-year-old. I love this. I love a little bit of smack talk, a little bit of toughness, and a big kind of haha, this is fun type of smile. Dude was loving it. It was fun to watch. So not only the no yikes stuff, like so few big, bold, underline, rookie mistake type of things, which is so huge in summer league, right? It's not even necessarily your peaks. It's like if there aren't really any valleys, and you're mostly just like doing your thing. I guess the other thing to note is like, he stood in the key the entire time. There's no defensive 3 seconds in the CBA. China does not have defensive 3 seconds. The NBA does, but in summer league they just weren't calling it. And clearly they talked with him about it in the at halftime, because he didn't do it as much in the second half. But in that first half, particularly early in the game, Hansen just stood in the paint on defense and waited. And at summer league they didn't call it. But like, that's a learning thing. But I think that goes in like the sort of the funny bucket. But I mentioned so much in my preview of Hansen in my shows. And again, if you're listening to this in a bonus episode and you're like, what is this? It's a daily Trailblazers podcast. But and so I have 5 of these a week, and 2 of them this week I talked about like the most curious part about what they were going to do with Hansen is how they used him, how they deployed him, like in what ways. He did not catch a pass inside the arc. Never. Not only did he not get a direct post up, right? Like they didn't. I mentioned like I watched him play in the summer league with China last year in the Cali Classic, and it's like they were running those little wedge screens to like get him a catch, a direct post up, and like throwing him the ball and say, "Go to work, big fella." And it's like the Blazers don't really do that in their natural offense in with the big club. But I was like, well, maybe they'll do it a little bit with him in summer league, not a single time. But not only did they not like throw post ups to him. By my count, he did not catch the ball. Like he was not thrown the ball inside the arc the entire game. I think that's curious. 1, just like I want to see him. He's got good feet in the post. I want to see him post up. But 2, they were really trying something specific. 5 out, spread the floor, and let Hansen handle at the top of the key in that series delay action. And in that, when the center's at the top of the key and the center can pass, the paint is empty. You can spread the floor to the corners and you can allow guys to cut. And then if the cutters don't work, you're 5 out, you're spread, you have a center who can pass and be a hub and dribble handoffs and pick and roll stuff. It allows you to drive and kick and get into stuff. They intentionally opened up the paint because I don't think they thought they were going to be super effective by like throwing the ball into Hansen, and and I don't think he was super good as just a roll man with pick and rolls. That'll be something he'll have to work on. They really just played a game that spoke to his strength. How did they use him? How did they deploy him? He caught the ball at the top of the key, and they let him make reads, let him make passes, let him flow into dribble handoffs, flow into pick and rolls, get into those offense with a little more sort of it's creating space sort of that is inorganic, right? Because you're starting with the guy ball in his hands who's like maybe the non-shooter, and there's movement off the ball. So it's like, hey, instead of standing still and making them, and having a single action that says like, well, we're not worried about him shooting. We're going to pull in the defense and help all the way. It was, 4 guys off the ball engaged and a passer at the top of the key who showed enough off the bounce willingness that you needed to stay near him. It created space. I thought it was, it wasn't like, I would have liked to see a little variety there, but I totally get what they were trying to do. And I actually think it really, it was a game plan very specifically to design the gifts of Hansen. And guess what? Right away in the first 3 minutes, he's like, you want to see these gifts? Boy! Dude was hooping. He was hooping. He looked like there's some stuff he's going to have to clean up, and we'll talk about that in the future. Like, I think he wasn't super, like, the functional strength will have to get a little bit better. The rolling to the rim, I felt like he didn't have great timing with that stuff. How he's going to get some individual offense maybe eventually, because he does have some good touch. How can they get that to that? But just the, like, I can score a little bit off the dribble. I'm a really good passer, and because of my gifts, the offense is opened up, and we're rolling. Pretty fun. Here's your final overreaction. It's just the greatest Trailblazer of all time. No, I'll leave it here. That was, I don't know if I had high expectations. I don't even think I had high expectations. I had a great deal of intrigue. I was very, very intrigued. I was very curious and very excited to watch Hansen because the stuff he does is really fun. He lived up to that level of interest. He lived up to that level of excitement. This was a really, 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 really solid. That's the 3 really guaranteed. The really, really, really solid debut. There were so many flashes of what this young man can do, and so few oh yikes moments where you're like, that could be a problem. 1 game, 23 minutes, 35 seconds, a long way to go, but night 1 of the Hansen era was dang enjoyable. Blaze play tomorrow night. I will do a full show, record it sometime on Sunday. It'll be in your feeds late Sunday, early Monday, depending on some timing stuff with my real life. But this is a bonus episode to get your fix and get your Hansen appreciation rolling. Come back 5 days a week, wherever you get podcasts, also on YouTube. Tell your friends about the program. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk to you soon.